Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kelly from Kelly's Custom Dolls, and today is August 7th, so Vlogust Day 7, and today I'm going to share a little bit about myself. I had a really busy day at work today, so I didn't even have time to crochet. Hopefully I can do it later tonight before I go to sleep, because a day without crochet, I feel like I get nothing done. You know what I mean? So first off, like I said, my name is Kelly, and I live in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, and I'm 44. I always have to remember how old my oldest son is because I had him when I was 20, so I always remember his age, and then I can add 20 and make my age. So I'm 44. I'm married to my husband, Darcy, and we have been together since 2000. I met him right out of high school, and then we got together. We had children, and yeah, so we have three boys together. So like I said, I have a 24-year-old Julian, a 21-year-old William, and an almost 12-year-old Noah. So that's our boys. We also have two cats, Joby, who has an extra finger on each hand, Salvatore, an overweight black cat, and Boo, the guinea pig. And Boo, the guinea pig, he thinks my husband is his best friend. So he knows the sounds of my husband getting up out of his chair or when he gets up in the morning and he starts screaming. So who thinks my husband's his best friend? So I love it so much. So basically had our first child right out of high school. So I met my husband actually when I worked at Zellers, and he worked at Zellers as well. So that's where we met. Zellers was non-existent for a few years, and it's kind of making its comeback out in like Toronto, that sort of area. So we met there, and we had our first son, and I moved in with him 2 months before we had our baby. So I basically moved from my mother's home right into making my own home, and I mean, that's my favorite life. So, and then we got married after our son turned 1. And then after that, I found out on my son's second birthday that we were having another baby. So that's William. And during that time, I kind of worked on and off at Zellers when I could. After we had our son William, at like 6 months old, I went and I worked evenings and weekends so that my husband could take care of our boys. And then I went back to Zellers before they closed, and I did both of those part-time. Before our son William went into kindergarten, I started working with a friend, and we did in-home daycare. So I worked with her for many years. When William was 9, we got a surprise baby, but we lost that baby. And then we decided, oh, our family is definitely not complete. So when William was 10, we had Noah, our youngest, and he's almost 12. So after Noah was born, I decided to do daycare in my own home. So he was 6 months old, and I had brought other kids in as well that were right around his age. And I did daycare right up until his last year of elementary. So the end of grade 4, I quit my job and it worked out perfectly for families. So that was great. And so his last year of elementary, I worked as a weekend cook at one of our hospices here in Fredericton. And then I switched over to house cleaning and cooking. And then I worked during the day while he was at school. And I had uh, had a plan with the company that, you know, I could be off so that I could go home and make sure Noah was cool. And then in 2025, early January, like right after my birthday, I got really sick and I thought I had COVID. So I just remember reaching out to my boss at hospice and I'm like, I don't think I can work. I think I have COVID. So COVID restrictions were, as long as you felt fine, you can come in, sort of thing. You know, I would wear a mask because I work with people who are dying. And so that was on Thursday. And then that night I went to bed and I woke up and I couldn't move. I could barely swallow. It took probably 10 minutes just to walk, probably 10 footsteps to the bathroom. My husband pretty much had to drag me to the bathroom and back to bed. And that was just like an all night thing overnight. And then we ended up sleeping like right in the guest, like our office at the time, right by the bathroom. And it was still really difficult to get back and forth to the bathroom. So eventually I just didn't have to pee anymore. And I remember my husband in the morning said, I'm taking Noah to school. I'll be right back. And I'm like, okay. Then I woke up in the hospital on a Sunday. It was a Monday. And I had gone into a diabetic coma. So I'm fully recovered. If you don't believe in God, that is fine. I believe in God. I woke up from this coma totally unscathed. There was nothing wrong with any of my organs. The nurses and the doctors said that I was completely lucky that nothing besides the trauma of going into a coma was wrong with me. So it's a year and a bit later, and I'm trying really hard to get my health under control. I recently was diagnosed with depression, so I went on pills for that and I gained like 30 pounds. But it's okay. I feel so good about my life and I'm just more confident. So I went back to work after like 2 months off just for recovery. And then I quit my job there. I had already cleaning clients on my own. So I decided that I would work for myself and then I could focus on my crochet company, which at the time I was just kind of doing whatever. I wasn't selling at markets. I had stuff in the shops and I would make just like whatever I thought would sell. And then last year in like October, late October, I completely lost my Facebook. Somebody tried to scam me out of $500 and I didn't fall for it, but they hacked my Facebook. So I lost everything. I lost my group following. I lost all my friends list. I lost sales. I lost over $2,000 in sales for Christmas, which we kind of depend on for Christmas. And I had to rebuild my whole company. I'm still rebuilding. It's been really hard because I had worked on that group. I had almost 500 followers and like I was constantly getting like orders and that. So I decided that I was doing my dolls. That is now Build a Doll. I was doing those dolls trying to sell them in daycares and just like making custom lookalikes and that sort of thing. Then I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do this Build a Doll series for like 3 years. So I have no orders for the Christmas time. I'm going to start. So I started really hard working on the concept of hair, because hair has to be able to go with every doll. I had to pick colors that would go with like every kind of hair color, which was really difficult, but I did land on 8 different hairstyles. And so I worked on that, and then I worked January and February building a stock of 24 dolls, and I think it was like 24 wigs, and made sure I had, between the dresses and the shirt and the pants, I had 24 outfits. So in April, I did my first market where it was officially Build a Doll. So I was so happy to start doing this. The reception has been lovely. I only get like an offhand comment like every time I'm out, like once. I hear, oh, they look like voodoo dolls. Why don't they have faces? Faces come on last after you put the hair on, is what I tell everybody. One person complained that I didn't have the hairstyle that she wanted. And I thought, oh, can I make this happen? But I couldn't make it happen with all the 8 colors. So, you know, if she hadn't been so grumpy, I would have told her that I could custom make her a hair. But she's not a customer that I wanted. So usually people are like, these are lovely for Christmas. I can't wait to come back. One person had come into my booth 3 times, and she finally was able to get a doll because they had the time to do it. So, and I keep having the question of, this is, yeah, the other day at the market, it was the 3rd time somebody said, you do birthday parties, right? And I'm like, it is coming. So that's my next big thing, is working on a plan to do birthday parties. So I'm really excited about that. And the wheels are constantly in motion, thinking about all the different things. Like, I would be the entertainer. I would be the crafter. I would put the dolls together. I just have to think of all those things that I need to know before I go and start advertising myself. So, and the other thing I want to do with my company is I want to use my dolls, take pictures of my actual dolls, and put them into children's stories. Because I did daycare for 15 years, I feel like it's just the next step to that. So I want to have my Build a Doll. I want to put them in schools and daycares. I want to do birthday parties, and I want to write some children's books. So that's the direction of this whole reason why I'm here, and to film and document my journey into this. So thank you so much for watching today. Sorry, it's just a little bit longer yapping video, but I just wanted to share where I've started and where I'm going in the future. And I can't wait for you guys to watch it. And I can't wait to look back on this and be like, oh, I remember that hard day. And I remember when I didn't make all these sales, and now look. So just keep going. That's all I can say, is I am so stubborn enough to just keep going, and I feel like it is very beneficial to me. So thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'm going to share some things that I've been working on behind the scenes this week. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.